It began the same way every uncomfortable story begins. In this republic, citizens sensed something was wrong. The political class told everyone to calm down, and the people who dared to ask questions were labeled extremists. That is the energy that surrounded the Epstein saga from the beginning. It lived on message boards. It echoed at rallies. It was mocked by the media until the story grew too large to contain. No one needs to be a conspiracy theorist to care about crimes against children. No one needs a hashtag to understand that trafficking and exploitation are a stain on any nation that calls itself a constitutional republic. That is why the Epstein files mattered. They were never just paperwork. They were a symbol of the fear that powerful people can abuse the vulnerable and escape justice. For years, Donald Trump said the files should be released. He called Epstein evil. He banned him from Mar-a-Lago. He distanced himself fully. So when Trump briefly shifted and called the push for the files a Democrat hoax, the confusion inside his own base was immediate, and real people did not know what changed. They did not know who he was listening to. And for the first time, the cracks inside the Republican Party showed themselves more clearly than the files ever could. For the America First base, those files were a promise that corruption would be exposed on every side, a promise that elites who harmed children would never be shielded. People demanded transparency for years. And when Trump hesitated, the movement split. He later reversed himself and supported full release. But by then the damage was done. The debate became less about Epstein and more about influence. Who shapes Trump now? Who gets through to him? Who has his ear? This is where the deeper problem begins. The Republican Party is acting like MAGA in America. First are two different teams. They are not. They are the same voters with different personalities. The same mission with different voices. I have been MAGA in America first from the start. I am a constitutionalist for liberty. I support Trump fully, but support does not mean silence. Citizens have a duty to question power. That is how a republic stays alive. Imagine politics as baseball. Trump is the pitcher, activists are first and second base. The movement is the outfield. If the bases start throwing punches at the pitcher during the game, the other team will run the score until the lights go dark. And right now, the Republican Party is fighting itself while the opposition takes the field without resistance. The other team is not the conservative with a different opinion. The other team is the foreign influence in our cities. The politicians who reward illegal entry, the bureaucrats crushing free speech, the socialists running major cities, and instead of fighting that, we are arguing about is pure enough to be considered MAGA. Then came the Loomer and MTG feud, tearing the movement even further. Loomer grew closer to Trump and used her influence aggressively. Green pushed hard for the Epstein files. Trump sided with Loomer, called Green a traitor, and the movement fractured. The question became simple. Who is guiding Trump? Who is filtering his decisions? Because this Trump is not the 26th fighter who trusted his own instincts. This Trump leans heavily on the people around him, and some of those people are driven by ego, not mission. And we cannot ignore the failures of personnel who surrounded him. Many promised bold action, then delivered nothing. They spoke like warriors on stage, then surrendered to the bureaucracy behind closed doors. They failed to address election irregularities. They failed to protect the January 6th defendants who still suffer daily. They failed to confront the censorship regime that strangled the First Amendment. They failed to protect veterans and allies who served this nation and were deported anyway. These failures matter because they reveal something deeper. A movement is only as strong as the people trusted to carry out its mission. When those people betray the mission, the movement weakens. When citizens point it out, that is not disloyalty. That is responsibility. A constitutional republic does not survive on slogans. It survives on accountability. It It survives on citizens willing to tell the truth, even when the truth is uncomfortable. The Epstein files expose more than corruption. They expose the fractures inside our own movement. And if America first cannot learn from those fractures, if it cannot refocus on the real enemy, then the republic we claim to defend will be lost from the inside, long before the outside forces ever lay a hand on it.